folks, I'm back again with that weekly video, and oh, well, you know, I got another guest who happens to be another good friend of mine, and I'll forgive the fact that he broke into my house.
I'll pay for the shattered glass later.
Oh, that shattered glass belonged to my grandmother.
Hope the TV isn't of your dad's.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yep, I go by Vale, or Vale the Crossboy, Vale the Deviant. You can find me, let's see, on places like Twitter, Newgrounds, Pixiv, maybe even DeviantArt, but some of those places I don't post. But I'm generally sporadic, and I'm not really consistent with posting my art yet. So because I post a lot on Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so the stuff you see there probably isn't of the same quality as before, but yeah, I'm just a small-time artist. Known Ben for a long time. I think like 2016, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and weren't you a fan of my videos before that?
Oh yeah, I was like, it's actually funny because beforehand it was like it was like this is back when I was really a teenager, and like I saw your stuff and initially didn't like it. Initially didn't like your old stuff, that very old times that you don't like to talk about. and then like I stuck around even when you announced that like you were moving on with life, and then you started making new videos. Like, oh, this is interesting. Went on and on and on, and then became a fan, and then I found you through Discord. It's like, holy crap, it's Ben. It's like, hey, how you doing? And we just head off from there.
And I kept talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what drew me to you was your Twitter when you basically said, why do I post a lot of sexual shit? Because I'm a human being, goddammit. I'm like, I like this guy.
And I'm still have it there to this day.
I was like, I like this guy already.
Yeah, I still have it pinned. If I remember right. Oh yeah, our little topic of the day, well, it's sort of something considering entertainment as usual, but more like people's reactions to it, and well, more the criticism of it, and how I can say, in my opinion, well, I think mine, and I think as you might just share your opinion, it's gotten a lot more negative, cynical, and quite cruel at times.
Oh yeah, most definitely. This is a branch off of my topic from last week, which had to do with The Last Jedi.
Yep. He and I have different opinions of it. But yeah, it's like, I think ever since, I think this really started with like the red letter media, where this whole craze of like people with this whole negativity and cynical angle of like reviewing for films started to really get popular. And as of now, I think it's gotten to a really bad point where it's like, where it's probably not healthy for where it's not healthy for audience, critics, and creators as well.
Oh, most definitely. I agree completely.
Because it's like, okay, because I think the first person that suffered this nonsense was George Lucas, because he made the prequels, and I will say I'm a fan of the prequels, well, the prequel eras and so on, because that was what I grew up with. But I never knew how much hatred existed until I got into my teens, where it's like, oh my god, people were doing all this sort of crazy stuff.
And it's funny you mention that, because Episode 1 used to be my favorite Star Wars movie. I was obsessed with it. You can ask my mom. It's like when she got that for me on VHS back in the day, I watched the crap out of that movie. I was watching it like every day. I didn't see anything wrong with it.
I still think it's probably overhated, and a lot of its flaws are really like overstated, to be honest. Like, I think mine would have to be Revenge of the Sith. That was my favorite. Or that still is. I think still is my favorite.
I think Attack of the Clones is the worst one, if you ask me. That one's just agonizing to sit through.
Well, all the parts that were the romance stuff. Well, everything that wasn't the romance was good. Everything that wasn't that romance was good.
Well, no, it's like looking back, I can't find anything I enjoyed about it. It's like even the action scenes, it's like all that stuff is blue screened. It's like, where's all the practical where's all the practical
Oh,
effects?
oh, that actually helps segue back into to another thing I was about to mention. With the whole critics and so on, is that there is a lot of there's actually a lot of falsehoods that get pushed because of like the way critics, bloggers, and yes, even reviewers do it, because there's actually a ton of practical effects in the prequels, because like the Colosseum and so on,
Yeah.
that was all practical miniatures.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's like an entire video where it's like there's like videos upon videos, and now recently more, where it's like it's pretty much been talked about that there were practical effects for the prequel, and not just, and it was said that Revenge of the Sith had the most practical effects out of all the Star Wars movies at that time combined.
Oh, wow.
Yet it was pretty much pushed, thanks to Red Letter Media, and then by fans and fanboys and critics, and even more critics, that like it was all CGI, when no, there actually was. And it's like, that's like the danger I find with with the way critics and angry reviewers and so on have been going on. They spread a lot of falsehoods and influences on very impressionable people, because that's what happened to me a lot with Nostalgia Critic, like way too much.
It happened to all of us.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And I think
people, it's like, sorry to cut you off, but it's like, I think people,
no, you go first.
Yeah, they find themselves they find somebody, an authority figure to get attached to, because they think they're an expert in everything. So they're like, well, if he finds it bad, then I guess I have to find it bad.
I know, and it's like, so many people get misinformed of everything, and that's how so many false narratives and stuff spread. Because here's the next thing I'm going to be covering that's going to be a lot controversial. DCEU, DC movies.
Oh, no.
DC movies, oh god. Which I will disclaim, I am a fan of, from Batman v Superman, get the director's cut first, to Man of Steel, to Aquaman, which was a great movie, by the way.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, and then to Wonder Woman. But the two movies I do not like that are on my shit list are like Justice League and Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad had Harley in it. How dare you?
But it also was added by a trailer company, so... But, like... The thing with DCEU was... It started with Man of Steel, but with BVS, it got... The reaction has gotten very, very... Like, I don't know if you were around, but, like, during that time... Literally, it was the hatred for that movie was so inescapable at the time. You were getting, like, both in online and real life, you could not get through an ounce of life without somebody shitting on PBS or, like, making a reference to it. And it's like, good God, people, it's just a movie. Like, calm down.
I don't remember exactly that, but I do remember when Ben Affleck was announced as Batman, and literally you couldn't go anywhere online or anywhere in real life without people saying, "Man, Ben Affleck's gonna suck as Batman." Like, what? And here I'm a Ben Affleck fan. It's like, why does everybody hate Ben Affleck? He's a good actor.
He was the greatest Batman yet. He was, like, once you get to see the movie, you'll see that Batfleck deserves to be on the spot, and it's like. But it wasn't just like the hatred.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just like the hatred for BVS. It started to extend to the DCEU really fast, where it's like Suicide Squad came out, which was legitimately bad, and it's like it got more and more where it's like people were actually starting to attack like the people behind it more and more, and the one person who got it the most was Zack fucking Snyder, the dude who was directing Man of Steel and BVS, because this wasn't just some fanboy hatred. This was like media figures were literally pushing this shit over and over again, and then like to what really opened people's eyes to finally to how bad things have become. It's like when he stepped down from Justice League because his daughter committed suicide. Like,
what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's why he stepped.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
that's why he said.
Wow.
Yeah, like Yeah, it was unfortunate, and it happened in March, and it happened and for 2 months he held it all in until he finally was like, was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, well, not maybe not exact words, but like, let me find. Okay, this might take a bit, but let me find his exact words. Boy.
Wow. That's,
Yeah, it's like,
while you're looking for that, it's like, as somebody who's made content that people didn't like, I always and I'm tough skinned. I can for the most part. It's like there's sometimes people say stuff that like really resonates with you, and yeah, I find that people tend to attack the person and not criticize what the person makes. They always want to go after the person and try to ruin their life. And it's like, is that really worth it? I mean,
yeah, it's like that's why certain names in Hollywood are like poison, because like people aren't allowed to have second chances. Like if they screw up, it's kind of scary when you think about it, because like artists make mistakes, and us artists, and us artists were like, we learn from our mistakes. But it's like, how's anyone gonna improve or redeem themselves in this hostile environment where if you fuck up once, especially with pre-existing characters from DC to Marvel to like Jurassic Park or so on, like you're just gonna get attacked, like heaps of verbal abuse and so on.
Right. And I can't speak for everybody, but I know eventually when during my ranting days when I just got tired of the hate, it got to the point where I was saying stuff on purpose just to make people mad, because it's like, well, they're not gonna like anything I make, so why should I try to satisfy them?
Yeah, it's like, it kind of makes you wonder when you hear stories of people like, for example, David Ayer, who the Suicide Squad director, saying "fuck Marvel." It's like people are just gonna be like, before the movie was released, like a lot of people are gonna be like, because of the fact that Suicide Squad wasn't a good movie, or be like, oh fuck you, Ayer, that was. Oh, fuck you, Ayer, that wasn't a good movie. It's like, with the pressure he was probably getting that at that time, saying something like that doesn't exist in a vacuum. It probably was like him being sick of all this bullshit happening all the time, because he got lashed too.
Yeah, and considering all the changes that were made to Suicide Squad because DC wanted it to be their Guardians of the Galaxy, I wouldn't be surprised if Ayer was just saying that just because I'm trying to do my own movie, but DC just wants me to make Marvel.
I know, and yeah, you can literally read up on how much they cut out and they change, and it's like, and like to see how this still affects this negativity still follows Ayer. Like when he went to make Bright, that Netflix movie, that urban fantasy one, it's like you can still see some of that lingering negativity against him. When this is the guy who directed fucking Fury, that tank movie, that World War II tank movie.
Oh, okay.
If you've ever seen that one.
No, I've never heard of it, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, put it on your to-watch list, and here is what he's saying. And here's what Zack Snyder said when it came to the daughter thing. Here's the thing. I never planned to make this public. I thought it would just be in the family, a private matter. A private sorrow that we would deal with. When it became obvious I need to take a break, I knew there would be narratives to create on the internet. They'll do what they do. The truth is, I'm past caring about that kind of thing now. Like, when someone, like, damn.
Yeah.
When someone has to fucking say that out loud, it's like, deep. And there are some people who started to finally realize, we kind of took it too far. Like, there's this great article called "A Few Words on Zack Snyder: A Time for Reflection Amongst His Critics," where this person, who previously, like, was, like, one of those people who just keep tons of negativity, was like, yeah, we were kind of dickheads to the guy, like, and we shouldn't, we should be critics, not assholes who tear people apart.
Right.
And not, like...
Right.
Yeah, and
well, it's like, speaking of which, this whole topic reminds me of a video I wanted to make because I saw this documentary called "The People versus George Lucas," and if you haven't seen it, it's well worth it. It's not a crap fest on George Lucas like you would expect. It actually kind of makes you sympathize with them because it shows it from the fanboys' point of view, and while it doesn't outright state it, you see how the fanboys act and how they talk about the movies and George Lucas himself, and you start to realize there are just some fans out there who feel entitled by a creator's work, and they feel the creator owes them a good product, when no, it's the exact opposite. It's the artist's product, and they should be allowed to make it however they want.
I agree, and like this leads to a very controversial statement because I've seen this attitude in gaming a lot, where it's like this heaps of negativity thrown at people, and like I don't know if you play much games, but like you know Halo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, because ever since 2012, it switched hats to a new developer, 343, and there have been some changes made and some stuff happens, and Halo 5 came, and it was probably the most polarizing Halo yet, and it's like, as you can tell, there was also a lot of stuff going on. There's also a lot of stuff going on, and there's been some there were some things that like there are some legitimate grievances to be had, and there are some things grievances to be had, but the way, like, I was like one of the few people who probably did like Halo 5 and like, you know, didn't think it was like worst thing ever, and that's another thing that we need to address soon in this video, but it's like because Super 3 got a lot of toxic fans, a lot of harassment. That's like people were going on, hey, 343 doesn't listen to us. It's like, well, when you're such complete dickheads to them, like, are you surprised they're not going to listen to you?
It's pretty much like incels. Man, fuck women. Women, why won't you fuck me?
And like, granted, 343 has finally been able to listen because like more. Because I'm about to get into this other point because. There's this YouTuber called Late Night Gaming, a Halo fan who hasn't done the same crap that most people have, which is like shitting on the studio, where it's like he's calmly explaining it so that people who aren't fans of what the new games are like can agree with, and people who like me who like the new games and don't think they're all that bad can be like, oh, I can see what people are thinking about right now. Like, he's building bridges, and it's like. It's got to the point where it's like 343 employees like watched his videos, and guess what? He's one of the people. He was one of the studio to like look at stuff and like talk and stuff like, and you know, and they're also taking people like his feedback into consideration because he's filtered in a way that's not this negative, like nuclear energy, like aimed at the people creating this stuff.
Right.
And it's like, yes, this stuff, we need more of this stuff, not this screaming, negative, angry fanboy stuff that's masquerading as criticism.
Right. Harassment is not criticism, it's harassment.
Yeah, and it's like, you brought up a good point about entitlement, because I actually do believe in such thing as fan entitlement. Like, it's a polarizing issue, and most people are going to say, oh, it doesn't exist, but here's the thing. What are fans? Customers. And can customers be entitled? Say it with me, Ben.
Yes.
Yes, they can be.
I've worked enough fast food to know that.
Oh man, they can be. But like, I think like, what was I thinking? Angry reviewers, like, it started the whole trend of like this. Everything's the worst thing ever. This over-sensualization of what's basically opinions, to be honest.
Right.
Like, what was your experience with like such like that? Since I've been talking way too much.
No, you're fine. You're the guest.
That's cool, but yeah, it's your show too. But
one example I can think of, and I hate to beat a dead horse, but people acting like the Lego Movie was like the worst animated movie ever.
Lego, or you mean the Emoji Movie?
Oh, I'm sorry, Emoji Movie. No, Lego Movie's good. Yeah, worst movie ever. That's why I didn't get nominated. LOL. No, Emoji Movie, but it's like, what bothered me is I never seen it to this day. I'm not going to see it because I know what I'm expecting. I don't need to be confirmed that it's not a good movie, but at the same time, why do people feel the need to constantly crap on it? It's like, oh my god, it wasn't made for you. Get over it.
Yeah, it's like, it's just that, and people get, it's just a bad movie. It's like, but people have to beat it to death over and over again. It's like, and even worse so, it's like people forgot the concept, vote with your wallet and time. Like,
Yes.
most Americans do not have that time and money, and so they spend it wisely. And so why waste your money seeing a movie that you know you're not gonna like? Like, I wasn't fond of looking at Captain Marvel, not because of all the, I don't know, not because of all that other stuff, but it just looked generic to me. So it's like, all right, I was gonna see Battle Angel lead and set. That looks interesting. I've never been into the franchise, so this could be a good introduction.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like, what was I thinking? Oh yeah, and the same animators who worked on the Emoji Movie worked on Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, what a poetic justice.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't say the exact same directors and writers, but the same animators were all the same people who did the Emoji Movie, and that should tell you, hey, when they're given good stuff to work with, they'll make good stuff.
But yeah, it's like people who crap on Sony Animation. It's like they made the Hotel Transylvania movies; those are good, and big deal. They made the Emoji Movie. I think every studio was allowed one Cars 2.
Yeah, it's like people are so fixated on the negatives that it's like no one can ever really like be allowed to crawl back into, you know, positivity again, like redeem themselves. You're like, art's always about learning from your mistakes.
Exactly.
And improving.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like criticism should be used to help people, not hurt them.
Yeah, in fact, that was like the one thing I loved about Max G's video about the did the Emoji Movies have to be back, because he made a section where he basically called out like the critics for, like, as he put it, not constructive criticism but destructive criticism, just angry voices gnashing the loudest and not actually like offering any advice. And as he puts it, as a critic, you should be able to say the most positive, say something good about the most repugnant thing, in that if given the opportunity that you would make something better, you're an authority on nothing, and your opinion is worthless. And yeah, I was like, dang. I agree with that.
Yeah, me too. I forgot he said that.
Like, literally, like, I think that's another thing too. Like, like, when it comes to critics, like, they're basically made untouchable to be criticized, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense, actually.
Yeah.
Because when you
because
sometimes you try to point out, oh no, that's wrong and blah blah blah. You try to point out like errors in their criticism, and they say, "Shut up, man! It's just my opinion."
Well, not just my opinion. It's more like the expected thing where it's like artists should apparently take every criticism as valid. When guess what? No, there are some bullshit criticisms, and like,
yeah,
that was easily my problem with like all the shit hate DCEU freaking got, because a lot of the criticisms were basically nonsense, especially considering it came from people who think they know about the characters but they really don't, like Superman or Batman.
Right.
Like, what was I thinking? Like, one criticism, like, that just shows just how bad this hive mind of criticism is, where it's like people don't question what's being said. It's like this video from Nerdwriter, someone who I'm not fond of because he's one of those YouTube movie analysis videos, like, not a negative critic, but more like one of those people that can trick you into thinking they know what they're talking about with, like, good speaking and so on. But, like, he made a video called The Problem with DC Action Scenes, where it's like, one, the guy only picked out from, like, the worst DC movies, I think Justice League and Suicide Squad, and second, like, his argument that, like, he was arguing that, like, Marvel's quips, like, you know how Marvel movies are all about the quips and the so on, like, all quippy and jokes and so on.
Right.
Yeah, like, he was saying how that connects you with the characters more and so on. It's like, it was like such bullshit. Like, he didn't cover the Batman warehouse fight scene, considered by even people who hate the movie as one of the best parts of the movie. He didn't cover Man of Steel, where it's like they show the full power of what godly alien beings are capable of. He cherry-picked, and he manipulated, and guess what? That video has millions of views, and it was circulated by so many media articles. It's like, this is so biased. This is like, what the fuck is this? I know, DC bias and so on, but like, I just look at this and it's like, this literally represents everything wrong with what's going on with film criticism. This is not how it should be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if any, I haven't seen any of the DCU films, but I think what I noticed based on clips I saw is they were trying too hard to be Marvel, and whether that was mostly DC's decision or anybody else, I think DC ain't meant to be Marvel, it's meant to be its own thing. So I'm glad they're gonna start over this year with the Joker movie, which looks pretty fantastic. It's low budget,
Yeah.
it's low budget, it takes place in the 70s, it's gonna be a gritty crime movie. It's like, there you go, that's what DC Comics is all about.
Yeah, it's what they're best known for. In fact, it's not even connected to DCEU. It's a self-contained movie. It's like, yes.
It's like that's perfect.
Yeah, and it's like, and yeah, what was I thinking about? Like, yeah, like that's why I didn't like Justice League and Suicide Squad. They took movies that were supposed to be their own thing and then just made it, try to make it Marvel light when they're trying to make it Marvel light. And it's like, say what you will about BVS, at least it's remembered. Justice League, people don't even like, aren't even fans of, and don't even talk about. Like, even people who hated BVS, like, said Justice League was a piece of shit and BVS was better. That shocked me.
Yeah, it's like not even Joss Whedon could save it.
Yeah, and there's like, oh man, this production issues were so bad. But let's see. I think that, like, we talk a lot about the critic side, but now we can talk. I think we can talk about the angry reviewers who also extended and made this trend even worse among the internet.
Yeah. And I will say that in a way, I kind of like how reviews. I think they gotten better with the internet age, because now any average Joe can turn the camera on and say what they want about a movie. The only bad thing is, any average Joe can turn a camera on and say what they want about a movie. And what I mean by that is, like, they're not exactly experts. I mean, they could just be angry trolls who are trying to crap on anything they can, and some people will take that and be like, oh, it's legit. And then with YouTube, because I'm a YouTuber, this is something I noticed, people like negativity. People are drawn to stuff that's
absolutely, negativity sells so much more,
because I guess negativity is entertaining, and yes, to a certain extent it is, but at the same time it's like they're sacrificing what could be actual entertaining film critique and turning it into crap.
Yeah, we're probably finding out that along with not being good at critic himself, Doug Walker, it's like he really pushed this. Like, he really started to push the angle, like, insulting and making fun of the people behind it, rather than making fun of the product, which is like, and he just went along with this angle more and more, and like to the point of shoving it even. He kept to the point of like shoving it all into like friggin' every video he was doing, because like I said, to get an idea of how bad, like, for example, the Snyder hate was going on in the channel was in his freaking, what is it, Freddy versus Jason review, which is also god awful garbage, by the way, but it's like he was pretty much making, you know he has that shitty Michael Bay parody character.
Yeah.
Oh, guess what? He decided, since BVS, to make one for Snyder, and literally you can basically see that he's basically comparing Michael Bay and Zack Snyder to each other, which is like, fuck you, man. And then it's like, end of the video, he has this antagonist be this giant Michael Bay robot, and then he said the Michael Bay thing, and the Bay thing, the Bay parody character turns around, and guess what? He literally puts the Snyder parody character is literally Michael Bay's ass. Like, I wish I was joking, and that was like, it just goes out. It just goes to how far Doug Walker has fallen, basically.
Man, that's a lot of passionate hate right there.
And I know, right? And the thing is, they are demonizing a guy who basically has been one for example, he's been described as every woman is like the best director they've ever met because like kind, considerate, respectful. And it's like he's the reason Gal Gadot and Amy Adams still have acting careers because it's like they were both considering quitting because of all the sexist directors they had to deal with in the past. And it's like, and then like Snyder like brought him on board. And he's like really nice and respectful and kind to them. It's like, yeah, that. And it's like every other person is described as kind, passionate as well. And like he's not even hated among like film director circles. He's actually well appreciated. Like James Cameron gave him some praise, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, they pretty much demonize nice people like all the time. It's like, you know, this happened with Snyder, but I'm wondering how often it's been going on with like the Nostalgia Critic and Channel Awesome and all the way and so on.
But yeah, I ain't got much to add based on what you said, but it just goes back to me saying it's like criticize the creation, not the creator, and addressing the creator with ad hominem attacks is not the way to go because all it does is hurt them and make them more angry and makes them want to upset the fans more because if you're not even gonna give me a chance, why should I even try to please you?
Pretty much, and it's always aimed at, and when that happens, it's always aimed against the director, so things get even worse. And I used to be one of those people too, and then it's like, I became a creator, like not like a big time creator, but like I drew and I did art, and so it's like, creating shit's hard,
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna say that out loud. Like, it's not. people think you can punch out on a dime. It's not easy. Heck, some days you don't even feel motivated. Then you got real life responsibilities. Imagine what it's like when your salary and your livelihood is dedicated to that, and it's like, good point. We're just gonna back off and give you some space.
It's like nobody does this because it's easy. They do it because they love it.
Yeah, and even then, it's like the payment for like these people is already ass enough as is. Like I don't know. I think creators these days are getting paid a lot less than they should be. At least Nick, for example, thanks to frickin' Zaragami. Good God. And it's like, it's not, and just a takeaway from movies, for example. I mean, you did a video about cartoon fanboys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this problems actually was sort of highlighted to me. Like, you heard about the new Thundercats show, right?
Did I ever?
Oh God, and it's like, yeah, because this is a problem in the cartoon fan community a lot too. Because I remember seeing a tweet where it's like someone was, I think a creator, like either someone on board the show or someone who was at least like another creator. So they're, because how creators are always well known within their own circles. It's like, I think you get this like very sarcastic comment about like, we don't intentionally set out to ruin your childhood, and it's like, I remember I can't remember the full context, but it's like this. It was like this very snarky comeback to like all the people saying, "This is terrible. You're ruining my childhood," and so on. It's like the how Mr. Enter kind of used to. He doesn't do it anymore, but he used to directly call out specific creators and so on.
Right. And
those creators got harassed and so on. It's like, I'm finding out more and more. This happens more often. It's often for cartoon people, especially on Twitter. It's like, animation's a very, very hard fucking medium, and things are not going well as is. So let's give these guys a freaking break,
Right. I think if they're trying hard, yeah, it reminds me of The Simpsons with the Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie, and Bart's flat out tells comic book guy, it's like, they giving you 1,000 of hours of entertainment for free. Why do they owe you? If anything, you owe them.
That is, oh my God, that is genius.
Yeah. Simpsons was ahead of its time at that time.
I love that. We need to do that more. Yeah.
So, this video has been going on for about a little over a half hour, so unless you got anything else to add, we can start wrapping things up. So I think we pretty much covered everything.
I hope you have anything else to share, like just to make sure, because I don't know, I tend to be a lot of the talker, and if this gets cut down, there's a lot of in and out.
Nah, man, you're cool. It's like I like bringing people on. I work better when I have somebody to talk to, rather than just having to find something to say myself for a good 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, and huh.
It's like because I've been doing scripted videos for the longest time. I relied on them, so trying to do ad lib videos. I'm still trying to get into the groove. I'm getting better, but it's mostly overcoming nervousness.
Nervous. Oh, I am the worst person on talking to people. Holy crap.
You didn't have any problems talking to me for the past hour.
Yeah, I don't know, I still feel guilty because I feel like I dominated a conversation.
No. It's like I wouldn't have brought you on it's like I don't have to hear the sound of my own voice for half an hour.
Yep. Yep.
So, moral of the story, kids. If you're going to critique, actually give helpful criticism and don't harass people who make stuff for you. They go through a lot, and it's not always easy being a film director, a creator, or an artist, or anything. They have families to feed. They have their own lives, and a lot of times,
and their own visions.
Yeah, and a lot of times their visions aren't met because the studios come in and change everything, and it's either protest and get fired and lose your job, or just shut up and let them do what they need to do and keep getting paid. So
and under your name too. So remember, people, another thing. I think I have one more interesting thing to talk about, because you just reminded me. There's this YouTuber named Shinobi 03. Who's been critiquing Nostalgia Critic a lot, and it's like, I respect this guy so much because he shows the value of what should be, of what things should be, because along with like critiquing the critic and also calling him on reviewers on when it came to his like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom video, also great stuff. He shows the important value of research. He shows more than anything else how valuable research is. Like, when we're talking about things like being an expert on the subject, we're talking about like research the people behind it, research what's been going on, research it all, find as much detail as you can, because there could be things that happen that you don't realize, and that's what Shinobi's been the guy doing for me. He showed me a ton of this other side of things where it's like, oh, I didn't know that. And it's like, that's what we need more of. Just so remember, kids, research. Be well informed, because you don't want to be another. You don't want to be an easy peasy.
Now that's a cause I can get behind.
or Nostalgia Critic, or any of these other guys. But remember, and the only person you can call an asshole is John Chris Felucci. He has it coming.
Yeah, screw him.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you, Vale, for coming on. I'll have links to his social media in the description so you can check him out. And
yep.
As always.
Yeah, they may be active sometimes, maybe active not, but who knows? Maybe we'll see.